Last week in Rudy's Travels, we built the T-slot frame that will sit under the counter shelf of the galley and provide drawers and other storage for our cooking gear. Now in part 2 of our Building the Galley series, we will install the sink into the countertop shelf. After the sink arrived from Amazon, we first checked to see how it would sit atop the frame when both were installed. We discovered that the edge of the sink basin would interfere with one of the support rails of the frame, so a couple of modifications to the frame would then be required.
So I took this piece, which if you recall used to extend from the top to the back, and I dropped that down about 4 inches, which I think should be the right amount. I didn't want to go too low because I need to use this for the slides for the stove drawer, which that should be about the right size. But I can adjust that up and down. This is adjustable. That's adjustable as well. So that's ready to go. I also took this piece in the middle here that I discussed was too far back, slid that forward. And again, that can be slid, fine-tuned when we have to. And finally, the last piece was this one piece that came from this corner and it came across and down. So I replaced this post here with a much shorter one and just drop this down over here. And the reason this is a lot shorter than this side is that I'll probably use this to support a slide, drawer slide as well. I'll have to put a mating one on this side. And it's going to be lower because the basin is going to extend down to about here, the basin of the sink, which means I'll have a false front here, and any drawer that I may put will probably only come up about this high. So I still may have to adjust this up or down once the final install is being done. But I think this will work well. There's plenty of room for the sink. When I slide this in, there'll be plenty of room left and right for the basin to drop down into. And this can slide in and out once the sink is in. So I think the next step will be to install the sink, which I'll have to be really careful on because once I cut that countertop, that's it. So I'll probably do a practice run with the template, make a template. They didn't provide one. I'll make a template on a piece of cardboard, then maybe a piece of scrap plywood and place it on top and just, check everything else out. Just want to make sure before we make that cut. So I'm going to do a practice template, which I think will help in also placing exactly where I want the sink to go without cutting into the main countertop. So they don't really give you much help in the instructions on these Chinese-made sinks, but basically there's some measurements they gave. I took the sink and I placed it where I thought it would go on this piece of 1/4-inch plywood scrap that I have, and traced it out, and then backed off what looks to be about a 1/4-inch lip all around, and then also these corners where the sink will get screwed into the countertop. So I think this will work. If not, we'll try another piece of scrap till we get it right. So we end up with, put this on the side, out of the way. We end up with this this template here. I'm going to use a scroll saw to cut this out as close as possible. We'll see if that works. If not, we'll try another one. If this works, then we can place this on top of the cage and check the placement out, verify the measurements. Right now I've got it sitting about 1.5 inches from the front lip. I'm not sure if that's exactly where I want it, but that'll probably be pretty close enough. So let's get going on. So I have the sink here, I have the template I cut out. It looks like it's going to fit pretty closely. Very good. I might be able to make it a little bit smaller, the hole, so it's a little snugger to the sink. Right now there's a little bit of play, but you can't see under the lip, so that's good. And this will just sit something like this, a little higher with the thicker countertop, but I just wanted to get an idea. Plenty of clearance underneath for the connecting pieces that I was concerned about that I moved down. Might have been okay if I left it where it would. No, it wouldn't have. It would have hit. But now I've got some room to play. I can locate the sink exactly where I want, center it over the false front here, which is pretty close to being center of the countertop, which is where I want it. Okay, so here's the quarter-inch plywood template that I originally cut out, and what I did was transfer this outline onto this 3/4-inch piece of scrap plywood. I went right to the 3/4, which is what I want to use for my final template which is the same size of, pretty close to the same size of the countertop. So this way I know it sits in properly. As you can see, this basin has an angle on this upper part and then it comes straight down. So I wanted to make sure it would fit in the 3/4 inch plywood as closely as possible. So I cut it out. I left these little notches here because there are these hinges on the back of the sink, which I don't think I needed. So I think when I come across on the final, I'll just leave those in. But anyway, I did place the sink into the final template. And this is the outline of the sink. So it's got a pretty good lip to rest on right around here. It's a little close there. That's why I'm going to really leave those in. And these holes here are where it gets screwed into the countertop. So it's pretty beefy in the 4 corners. And this will fit right in. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. And there we go. All right, this drops in. I had to trim it down a little bit. The template, that is, to get it secure. So this will, to get it tight, this will, let me do that. This will open up, and that looks, I think that'll look pretty good. There we go. So the way I'm going to get this position on the countertop is, what I've done is, now this slides back and forth on top of the frame for the drawers underneath. And I know that this will be in a certain position. So what I did was, as you can see underneath, I've got about an inch, 3/4 of an inch maybe, of slop between the side of the basin and this piece over here, which is good. I want to leave some space, and I've got plenty of room over here. So there's plenty of room. I could go back and forth a little. I want to leave that space. So this seems to be a good spot for it. I drew a line on the template here, the center line, and then I extended that onto a piece of blue painter's tape on the frame. So I'll take all this away. This frame will go inside the back of the trailer, and then I'll take the sink out, drop the template on, line these 2 lines up, and then that's where I'll draw onto the countertop for cutting the hole out for the sink on top of the counter. And that will be interesting. So I put the frame right where it's going to be inside the 3rd section, the lower section of the trailer. And as you can see, there's the center line for where I'm going to line up the sink center line, which I've already done. I put the template, laid it out on top, and that is going to be lined up. I use this level just to check that it's perfect there, but I still have a little bit of slop on the right side and a lot of slop on the left side if I'm off by even I'd say 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch. So, but I don't think I'm off at all. That looks like it's lined up pretty well. So now this looks level, this looks even. What I'll do is I'll draw this out around here, take the template away, and take out my saw and make a big hole and hope it works out. My backup plan, if it screws up, my first backup plan is to look for a piece of 1/4 inch laminate that I can put over that, put the hole in properly, cover up whatever I mess up, and then that'll be like a kind of a nice countertop, maybe some Korean or something that I can get in a 1/4 inch thickness, because I think the lip is a 1/4 inch over this part here, right? This lip here. So then if I had a 1/4 inch composite, it would be level with this lip. And then my second backup plan would be to replace this whole thing. But I don't think I'm going to need either backup plan. I think we've been laying this out pretty well, and I just have to take my time when I cut it out. So here goes. is sticking in the front. I'll just have to trim a little bit out. I'll look underneath there in a minute. Back looks good. Let's see, this opens up beautifully. Plenty of clearance on the top. That's flush, that's flush. Or I can pick it up. No, that's flush in the back. That looks good. And I just have to get this trimmed out a little bit. Put the framework back inside the trailer, and the seat can drop down, and it looks just like it did before. I've got about close to an inch of give on the right side between this piece and the basin, and plenty of room over here. Doesn't even go past this side here, so it doesn't even encroach onto the battery compartment. Okay, I'll be finishing off the sink install from the top on the countertop. Sitting right here. I've already put the faucet in, which is a folding faucet. It swings up and out and down. So that's kind of nice. So we're just going to tuck this away like that. And this will be pretty simple. All I have to do at this point is put this rubber gasket around the rim, and I'm just going to drill four screws into each of the corners, the four corners. And I think that'll be good enough.